Do you know the feeling of having way too many projects so you end up not doing any of them? I don't. Just 1 second. That's a little better. Ultimately, I want to take you through how I stopped procrastinating on all of my projects and how I started making progress on them almost every day. I mean, being honest, I have a lot of hobbies. In addition to work, I also am into photography, working on my own cars, and then for some reason get into all these weird hobbies on the side, like brewing beer or whatever else I can get my hands on. So naturally, over time, I just started collecting things and collecting projects. I had cameras for days. I had way too many projects that weren't getting started in my garage. I own a house, and obviously, instead of doing all the important stuff, I like to build a bar, which is what you're sitting in right now. And ultimately, what this led to was me doing absolutely none of them. So behind me is my 1979 Kawasaki KZ650. This is actually the last of 3 bikes that I picked up a few years ago for $300 for all 3. I got the Yamaha XJ750 up and running, and that ended up being my very first bike. And then I sold that to buy my FZ6. Then in a previous video, I showed the rebuild of this engine, which I still have not fired. And then that left the CB650. However, the CB650 was behind so many other projects, including my E36. I was building my basement, I had a bunch of house projects to do, and it was just all piling up. One day my dad was visiting and he said, "You really should sell this thing." He was talking about the CB650. Things that were going through my head were, "You don't understand, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'll get to it eventually. And I can't sell this thing, I got it at such a good deal. I'm not gonna get a deal like that again." The fact of the matter is, I probably can get a deal again. And I wasn't going to touch this in at least a few years. So I finally got myself to sell it. And I got $400 for it, which was more than I spent for all 3. And really, it's not about having less stuff, it's about being intentional with the stuff that you do have. And so what I mean by intentional is really, I have an immediate or direct use for it. It's not the mentality of, I could have use for this, or this could come in handy, or I plan to do this project in a few years. I'm gonna work on this right now or in the next few weeks. Getting rid of things wasn't easy though. I had that collecting mindset where I got a lot of satisfaction out of getting more cameras or more projects, or, oh, that's a good deal on Marketplace, I should pick up that motorcycle. And I know a lot of people that get into this trap. I know people who have barns full of stuff like this, or 3 garages that they can't walk around in. And what's funny is each thing in that garage, even though we have thousands of things, for some reason has this little sentimental meaning. And then even when it comes down to, hey, I need to get rid of some stuff, it's way too daunting at that point to even start because it just looks like one big project. So at that point, I almost want to do nothing because there's so much. So last year I completed 75 Hard, and one of the books I read was How to Live a Non-Anxious Life by Dr. John Deloney. One of the things he said in there is he liked to collect guitars, but every single time he would go around his house, he would see each guitar telling him to play me, play me. And that's what each thing in your house or garage does, is create a micro anxiety that just tells you to do that one thing. In my case, I primarily had a problem collecting cameras. So each camera I had a little use me, or when I saw that CB650, it was fix me, fix me. Even if it was the slightest, tiniest voice, it was a very small reminder. So what I did is I set up some time where I just decided which cameras I was gonna keep and which ones I was gonna get rid of. And a lot of what it came down to is, what was I gonna be using? What gave me that joy? What gave me that purpose of being able to grab it and use it? The same went in my garage. What projects out there was I gonna be doing in the next year? Or what items out there are useful? The tools don't really count because the tools serve a purpose almost every day. But things I was getting rid of was a space heater that didn't work and I had plans to fix, even though I had another one ready. I got rid of a projector screen, even though I had one in my basement that I was holding on to, just in case I moved and didn't have a projector screen in that house. As you may have seen in my last video, I got new wheels and tires for my Tahoe, but I needed to keep the other set just in case I either wanted to sell the truck or do something else with them. They were just gonna sit in a yard. And the tires were from 2022, so they were still sellable and still valuable, but they wouldn't be valuable in a few years. It's almost the time value of money aspect. $1 now is worth more than in the future. But then as I started chipping away at things, I'd either sell it on Marketplace or I would give it away at Goodwill. I started to stack some money. I started to stack some free space. So that brings me to rule number 2. Downsizing can be amplifying. So for the camera one, for instance, every time I sold something, I put that cash right in my camera bag. So instead of having 20 cameras that were worth $50 to $100 and I never used, I decided to put all that money towards one nice camera, which is what I'm shooting on right now to record this video, my R6 Mark II. And let me tell you, I am so much happier with this one camera. It's just the thing I reach for now. And I did keep a few things that make me happy, like a couple film cameras or my first digital camera. I kept that too. And then the same goes for my garage. The money I got from selling my CB650 went right into my E36 project. All of a sudden I had money to buy paint or sandpaper or other things to complete that one project. So hopefully next year it will be very nice instead of having 3, 4, 5 projects that are still in shambles. So if we've identified that we need to downsize, it can also be daunting to even start that as a project. So the key here is my rule number 3. Make it bite-sized and manageable. Personally, I'm one of the busiest people I know. I am going and working from almost the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, and I don't sleep that much. But I still had time to do this. I made a system where every day I blocked out 10 minutes, and almost all the time I had 10 minutes. I got home from work, I set a timer, I put on some AC/DC, and then I grind for 10 minutes straight. I would go through things, I would clean, and if I found something that I didn't know where it belonged or where I wanted to put it or didn't have a use for it, it went in one of 2 bins. One bin was for Goodwill if I didn't think I could sell it or didn't want to bother selling it. And then the other bin was for Facebook Marketplace. And it would just go in that bin until I was ready to list them. Then at the end of that 10 minutes, I would list between 1 and 3 things on Facebook Marketplace and put it on a shelf until somebody bought it. Everything didn't go right away, but what it did create is a system where things were constantly moving out of my house and money was constantly going in my pocket. And that money built up so I could buy a smaller amount of nice things, but everything I bought at that point had an immediate purpose. And then after clearing all the clutter, I built this bar. It might seem like one of those little random projects, but it gave me immense value. And I was able to focus all of my energy and time on that one thing. And now I have a really nice bar, instead of no bar and a shitty CB650 in my garage. Okay, maybe those aren't directly related, but you get the point. So that's really it. It's not necessarily about owning less. It's about being intentional with what you keep. It's about de-stressing, prioritizing, and eventually having nice things. So maybe if you're feeling stuck or spread thin, it's not about doing more. Maybe it's about doing what matters most and letting everything else go. Be intentional about what you keep and bring into your life. It can apply to the garage. It can apply to your house. Anyway, this was a problem that I had for a long time and I'm still trying to get better at, and I really hope it would help you as well. So if it did, or you liked this video, please give it a like, subscribe. I'll be hitting the garage next week to do some work on the E36 now that I'm prioritizing it. Anyway, I hope to see you in the next video.